Let's go ahead and look at chapter 5 of the 5th grade book. We are looking at exercise 9 of the workbook, page 128. We're going to work on these two problems together. Number 4 says Patrick spent 5/6 of his money on camping equipment. 2/5 of what he spent was for a backpack, and the rest was for a tent. He had $60 left. How much did the tent cost? So we know how many boxes to draw for our bar model right away because it says at the very beginning that he spent 5/6 of his money. So we're going to go ahead and draw that. There we go. So we're going to need 6 boxes here. And we know that he spent 5/6 of that. All together, so he spent from here to here. 2/5 of what he spent was for a backpack, so 2 of our 5 are for the backpack. B for backpack. And the rest was for a tent, so the rest of what he spent, which was that 3/5 or 3/6 remaining, was for his tent. He had $60 left. So mind you, he spent 5/6 of his money. He did not spend 1/6 of what he had. So that means this portion right here has to be $60. How much did the tent cost? In order to figure out how much the tent costs, we would have had to figure out how much one unit represents. And by going through and identifying what could be drawn from every single one of the sentences, we were able to realize that one of the units represents $60. We need to know how much 3 of those units are. The reason we know that there's 3 is because 3 of the units have been marked tent. So that means that one of these is worth 60, the second one's worth 60, and the third one's worth 60. In reality, we're doing 60 times 3. His tent was $180. Let's look at the second one. The second one says Rosa spent 1/4 of her money on a camping stove and 1/6 of the remainder on a water purifier. She spent $267. How much money did she have at first? So the first part of this tells us how much money she spent. Just like the last one, we're going to create a bar model that represents that with 4 separate pieces. We know that 1/4 of what she spent was spent on a stove, because that's what it tells us, and 1/6 of the remainder was spent on a water purifier. 1/6 of the remainder means that all of this that is left is broken into smaller pieces because there are currently not 6ths there. We need to turn them into 6ths. So we're going to put some dotted lines to show 6th here. So that would be 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 6/6. And in order to actually solve the problem, because we're working with multiplication and division, we need to make sure that the stove is broken into more than one unit as well. We want them to be the same size units so that we can actually solve the problem. All right, so remember she said that 1/6 of the remainder was for the purifier. So I'm going to put WP for water purifier, 1/6 of that. Beautiful. It goes on and it tells us that she spent $267. So what that means is from here to here is $167. $267. As listed here in the problem, we need to know how much money she had at first. So if we were only looking at these 3 units, and we knew that the total of those 3 units was 267, we needed to figure out what one of those units was. In order to do that, we're going to divide. Anytime that you're given a total, you're either going to be subtracting as a part of your problem or dividing as a part of your problem. Because we're working with equal groups, we're going to divide. So 267 divided by 3, because we need to figure out what one of these small units is. And that is 89. Now, mind you, we need to figure out, according to the problem, how much she had at first, which means we need to figure out how much she had out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 separate pieces, 8 separate units. 8 units is going to be the amount that we just identified, 89, multiplied by 8, which is $712. So our whole piece is $712.